All right, so I missed a call today from the 3rd District Police Department. This is Sunday, July 12, 2026, 1:15 p.m. When they called me, the phone just rang once and then they hung up. I called them on Friday at 2:38 p.m. regarding the money that was stolen from my account through apple.com. And that was report number 252234. So they haven't called me back for a year because I filed that report 1 year ago. And then they finally called me back today. So I'm actually going to give them a call right now. Hi, this is Gina, Calabrese, and I missed a phone call from the 3rd District Police Department today. The phone rang one time and then the person hung up.
I'm not sure who called you because I'm the only one working here.
It was at 11:40 a.m.
11:40.
Yep.
Okay. I'm not sure who called you. Were you expecting a call from the police?
I called them on Friday regards to report number 252234 that I filed last year. I never heard anything about it. It was about monies that were hacked out of my account through apple.com. Yeah, did you hear me what I just said?
No, you broke up.
Oh, okay. I called them on Friday about report number 252234. It was a report that I filed last year. I never heard anything back. So I called on Friday and left a message to have someone call me regarding that for an update as to what was going on in regards to that investigation. Thank you. Hello? Hi, is this the Detective Bureau? This is Gina Calabrese. Did you call me at 11:40 a.m. today?
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, 1 second.
I'm sorry, may I have your name again? Hello?
Hi, can you make a police report? Who called you?
Yes, I filed it 1 year ago and the report number is 252234. Yes,
Someone just called you today?
yes. I called them on Friday. I wanted an update because no one has called me since I filed the report 1 year ago.
So I cannot look that up because it's in his system. And I don't have access to those. Anyone have access to those systems? You called you?
No, the phone just rang one time and they hung up. Hello? Hello? Okay, I said the phone rang one time and they hung up.
So they didn't leave their name.
Nope. It was a one ring and they hung up.
What type of report was it? You know?
Yes, my account was hacked through apple.com. My bank account was hacked through apple.com. The person purchased apps. I'm
Where do you live?
in Cleveland.
Yeah, like an address so I can see maybe what district called you.
Oh, it was the third district.
The third district?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't have access to the old system. It's been a year ago.
You what?
I cannot look up reports from a year ago. Only certain people can, and they won't be in until tomorrow.
Okay. Okay.
Someone called you Friday?
No, I called Friday. Someone called me this morning at 11:40 a.m. from the 3rd District Police Department. It rang one time and they hung up.
I'll write your name down. What's the police report number?
25
Yeah.
2234.
And that was in 2025?
Yes.
Okay. And your name is?
Gina, Gina. Calabrese, Calab as in boy, Rese.
Okay, what's your phone number?
216 317 9979.
All I heard was 216.
Okay. 317 9979.
All right, I'll try to look it up and I'll get it helped.
Thank you. May I have your name? May I have you say Detective what?
Shanky.
Shanky. Thank you so much, Detective.
Yep.
Bye. Okay, so let's just, I want to just, go into history just to show history. Okay. Let's call, I hate the glare. Let me just try and get a better. This is terrible. There we go. Okay. It's weird that they chose today to call because, let's see. Okay. Because I posted this video on YouTube today. All right, let's see. Is this about making a special trip to see? It is. I going. At 9627. I think it was. I think that was 9627. Just July 12th, 2026. Sunglasses are on. But that looks like 9:50 a.m. This is Lakeside Avenue in Cleveland. Where would we be without the sheriff? It's 13 Lakeside. Hey, number. $3 a.m. So I was thinking about this, and the FBI, they hold a vendetta against me for reporting HPL Stampings Incorporated. That's weird. Now, these are kids. These are 30-year-old kids who have endless amounts of... All right, I'm going to pause that. And what I'm referring to is when I worked the job at the Horizon School, we unloaded school supplies into the classrooms. The name of the company was Excelligence. The name of the individual who the People Ready employees were supposed to report to was James Stiglia, and he gave his phone number. And when you dial that phone number, 224-381-9423, when I dialed the phone number on the day of the job, because we were told to call the number to report to him, I called him and 2 other People Ready employees called him. And wait, hold on, we have the Cleveland Police Department calling me. Hello? Hello? Okay, you're breaking up. Is this the detective who called? Go ahead. I'm sorry. You're really breaking up bad.
Can you hear me?
Yes, that's perfect.
All right, so I looked up your case. The case was closed because you didn't provide a P.O. box.
Because why?
For the address that occurred at.
No, it didn't occur at an address. It occurred in my account, in my Apple account. And I told them that.
All right.
It occurred from my Apple account to my bank.
Oh.
And money was taken out of my bank.
Yeah, you didn't provide your residential address.
Okay, I don't need to. I had money stolen out of my bank.
We'll require a lieutenant because you to provide your residential address.
But I don't need to provide a residential address. The money was stolen out of my bank account, hacked from apple.com.
The jurisdiction of where the incident occurred at.
But it's like it occurred in the air, basically, because money was stolen out of my bank account. My bank is located on St. Clair Avenue in Cleveland.
Yeah, you said we need to know where it is. Because you could be in another, you could be in Cuyahoga County, you could be in Lake County. We don't know.
But why does it matter? Because my bank is located on St. Clair Avenue in Cleveland.
The prosecutor is going to ask us for those address, and without a victim's address, they're not going to either charge us.
They're not going to what?
So the prosecutor asks what's the victim's address. They're not going to even, without getting
Without what?
your address.
Without my address, they won't pursue it?
Yes, we don't know what the jurisdiction where this occurred at.
Oh. Now, let me ask you then. When I was at 2227 Payne and I was assaulted, how come those assaults weren't pursued when they actually had the addresses? They actually had the address of both assaults. Hello? Hello. Can you put your mouth closer to the phone?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You would have to follow the prosecutor's office on the other report.
Okay. All right. Because then that's not the detective then? When it was just blown off, that would be the prosecutor's office?
So an assault is a misdemeanor. We follow up on felony crime, and if assault took place, and the suspect, then you would have to go down to the prosecutor's office.
And then I would have to go down to the prosecutor's office to do what?
File those charges.
Okay. All right. Okay, and so now with this, I would just, so now it's not going to be investigated at all?
If you want to provide your address, you can come to any police district and make a supplemental case to this.
I don't have one.
What?
I don't have one.
You don't have an address?
Mm-mm.
Where do you get mail at?
My P.O. box. I would have to do.
Wherever the incident took place, you would have to provide that address.
Well, the incident took place online.
You would have to make a supplemental report listing your residential address and establish jurisdiction for this crime occurred.
Okay, from where the crime occurred. The crime occurred online.
Okay. So you can make a supplemental police report listing your residential address.
Okay, I don't have one. Hello?
Yes, did you hear me?
Go ahead, yes.
Yeah, so if you want, you can make a supplemental police report listing your residential address so we can establish jurisdiction where this occurred.
Okay, now I want you to hear me, what I'm saying to you.
I heard you when you said that it happened in Cleveland.
No. What else did I say? I said I don't have an address. You asked me where I received my mail. I said I have a P.O. box. Did you hear all that? Do you?
Box, and they closed it out because they refused to provide residential address.
I don't have one. Do you hear me what I'm saying to you?
Yeah.
Okay, what did I just say?
Okay. If you want to talk to my lieutenant, I gave you his number.
Okay, go ahead.
216 623 6227.
Okay, and is he in today?
No, he's not.
Will he be in on Monday?
Yeah, he transferred to his voicemail.
Okay, thank you.
contact Sergeant Hoden at 216-623-5318. Record your message at the tone. When you are finished, hang up or press pound for more options.
Hello, this is Gina, Calabrese. The date is July 12, 2026. It is 1:36 p.m. If you can please give me a call, 216-317-9979. This is regarding report number 252234. Thank you. Bye. Okay, so anyways, James Steglia gave this phone number. I called it, and two other people already, employees, called it to say we have arrived here at the job site of the Horizon Education Center in Lakewood. He didn't answer the first time, not for me and not for the other two individuals. So I, however, called a second time, and the second time he did answer, and he said that he got off the wrong freeway and he was on his way. Okay. But if that isn't his phone number, how did he answer the phone? Because when I then put that phone number in, it came up as a 14-year-old child photographer. Okay. All right. See that. And this is all public record. I'm not giving up anyone's personal information. Okay. All right. And when I typed in James Steglia online, he came up as the Chief Financial Officer of Excelligence. Okay. When I then typed who is the Chief Financial Officer for Excelligence, it didn't show up as James Steglia. It showed up as Joseph Looney. Now, as I stated in another video, I've dealt with this before with Bob Evans. As soon as this Jake Huff arrived, everything changed for me at Bob Evans. It also happened at HelloFresh. HelloFresh, I purchased a Turn bike and I purchased it with cash. Still have the receipt. And the Hispanic supervisor kept going over to the bike as RTA were telling me to put it online for sale on Facebook. So that tells me that someone was going to come forward and say, that's my bike. She stole my bike. So I should have done it. In fact, I should still do it because I keep all of my receipts, everything. So, anyways, things really changed for me at this place, at HelloFresh, after this other white male in his 30s showed up, started working, listened to country music, and things drastically changed for me, really badly. Okay. Here is the page, the online page for James Steglia, photographer. Okay. Okay. And I questioned who, for 20 years, these FBI agents are kids. They're 30-year-old kids who weren't around 20 years ago. Well, they were 10, right? So a 10-year-old isn't going to have a vendetta. But that's what one of the guys said to me in regards to, I told them James Steglia started raising his phone up to me. So I then said, if anyone contacts you, if you could please let me know, either comes here or contacts you while here today, or, because I saw a helicopter flew over at 8:42 a.m. that day and 9:16 a.m. And I also showed him the hovering helicopter above me. Internet is very slow today at the library. All right, well, I showed this helicopter. It's in one of my other videos. I'm going to keep talking until it hopefully comes up. But I showed them that video. There were 2 males and 1 female. And then one female who was part of the school. But there were 2 males, one of them James Steglia, and 1 female. Female didn't wear any makeup. And they were each in their 30s. So let me see. Okay. So the other guy, not James Steglia, but the other guy, after I showed them the videos of the helicopter, he said, maybe this is a vendetta. And I said, yeah, it definitely sounds like a vendetta, or someone who is really obsessed with me. Here's that video. It's thinking. When he said maybe it's a vendetta, he looked me square in the eyes, and he was very serious.
Well, look at what we have here. Unbelievable. These little bastards. You know what? I'm not smiling about this at all. I'm pissed off. Freaking bastards. Freaking little bastards. Now am I gonna miss the bus recording, you little bastards? Huh? Freaking bastards. Okay, so that vehicle isn't there with the gray stripe.
As I walk, the helicopter flies.
Wasn't there last night either. You little freaking bastards.
Flying with me.
All right, then we got this.
I thought it was going to be a cop, and it wasn't. So that's why I said only got this.
Okay. And it's just moving right along with me.
Okay.
Bastard.
All right. So I showed them that, and then that's when the other guy said, "Sounds like it's a vendetta, or maybe it's a vendetta. Sounds like it's a vendetta." And he looked me square in the face. So that made me focus on that. Vendetta. This is a vendetta. And then you have to think about 20 years. Who has the money to continue this for 20 years? And I have repeated over and over again that this started after I reported HPL Stampings Incorporated to the FBI 20 years ago. in 2007. So I then thought, well, FBI agents, they're young, and they just take orders from people, and who they take their orders from, they're older. So they would have been around in 2007. So what I did is I looked up who is the chief director of the FBI, and I got the name. And then I asked online, who was the chief director of the FBI in 2007? And I read Frank Figliuzzi. One thing that I said in the past is the name of the accounts receivable manager who told me I was not allowed to tell the customers that they had credits on their account, $50,000, $20,000, $30,000. These were metal stampings. It wasn't cheap. Mary Romano said I am not allowed to tell them they have money on their account. Mary Romano but her last name is Romano. So the next thing I asked is Frank Figliuzzi related to Romano, Mary Romano? And I got an answer. Public records indicate that Frank Figliuzzi, the former FBI Assistant Director in National Security Analysis, is linked to the Romano family through a historical lineage where an ancestor married a Romano. Thank you, God. I'm so sorry. Genealogical records and historical Romano family history data show that an Italian immigrant named Dominic Nicola Romano had 4 siblings, one of whom was Maria Rosaria Figliuzzi, née Romano. While there are various branches of Figliuzzis and Romanos historically stemming from Italian roots, this is the primary documented family connection bearing both exact surnames. So, I was saying, remember I said in past videos that Dominic Coletta, Mary Romano, is Dominic Coletta related to Mary Romano, Italian? But no. The person who I sent my report to and then called was an actual relative of Mary Romano. And it's true that Dominic Coletta was really good friends with my father. And my father was a member of Club Molizani, where attorneys and cops and judges all hang out. So when my father was planning this eviction against me, he received full participation. He was really good friends with the chief of police from the Richmond Heights Police Department, and who, could have called in any favors that he wanted to within the Highland Heights Police Department, where my home was located. And the eviction was tight. I mean, it went through, it was tight, even though the papers stated, for just one example, that it was filed on October 31st. However, I was said to have been there since, I'm so sorry, let me give the year, October 31st of 2017. However, I was said to have been there since November 30 of 2017. Think about that. I had been there since the future, and those papers were accepted. Another thing that I reported to the FBI were the records that Dominic Coletta created about me within Lyndhurst Municipal Court's website, stating that I was involved with multiple drug law enforcement costs and alcohol treatment costs that never occurred. I reported it to the Ohio Supreme Court. I reported it to the FBI. Neither investigated it. Dominic Coletta also altered the court recordings from the eviction. He completely deleted one of the dates when we were in court. The very last date, it was rescheduled, but then it actually occurred. That recording was deleted, and I posted all of this online. Now, instead of Dominic Coletta's face on these videos, you're now going to see the face of Frank Figluzzi. The assault by Autumn Prosperity. Cleveland cops told her that I was working undercover with the FBI. I'm a really good waitress. I'm a really good vegetarian baker, Organics on the Go, LLC. Absolutely have never been employed within the FBI under any circumstances for any reason. And that's what the scar is from. Okay? She was extremely angry with me. Saying weird things like now it made sense why I was going to the library and all kinds of things like that. And the details are within this video right here. 3, and then I listed all dates, times, times of the recording within the recording. Okay. All right. That's number 3. Here's number 2. And then this actually has the case numbers. So this is actually the one that would have the drug law enforcement costs and alcohol treatment costs stated. So I actually wanted to take a look, and let's see, any one of them. It's multiple times. It's in his, and he didn't get in trouble with that for that. And I reported that to the FBI, and the FBI weren't responding. They weren't. I kept going there. 7 years later, I finally went there and said, "It doesn't take you 7 years to investigate this." And that's when the head guy came outside, down the steps, and basically put me down and said, "We're not investigating this." Who told Dominic Coletta to go that step further? Was it Frank Figluzzi, related to Mary Romano, who has a vendetta against me because I reported them to the FBI for stealing their customers' credits? This June 7 is a date of one of the filings. These people who they were stealing from had families, children, who they were putting through college. Oh, I'm looking in the video for it. They were putting through college. Trying to keep their businesses together. Now, Fagluzzi never said anything to me. You know, I'm mad at you for reporting them. However, for the amount of helicopters that I have hovering above me, and the amount of years that it has taken place, I kept saying, this is the FBI. Where I have worked, it goes really well for about 2 weeks to 2 months. And this has been going on for 20 years. And then suddenly there is a switch, and it's an immediate switch where I then go in and sometimes I worked as a temp at Whole Foods. I also they then hired me. When I was working there as a temp one day, there was a Monday meeting called. That Monday meeting never occurred before or afterwards, just that one day. After that day, everything, they were treating me like as though I was a criminal. And there was a young Hispanic male there. Every morning, he would say good morning to me, and you are such a hard worker. Then switched. He wasn't able to hide what occurred in that meeting. And whoever was in that meeting, he wasn't able to hide it. So what the FBI have done to kind of stay behind the scenes, no, we're not involved, that's ridiculous, is they then use the sheriff, the Cleveland police, Cleveland RTA, and Greater Cleveland YWCA. So let me just continue. I'm going to continue with that video of today that I recorded for the FBI. It is. Where am I going? At 9627? I think it was. I think that was 9627. Just July 12th, 2026. Sunglasses are on, but that looks like 9:50 a.m. This is Lakeside Avenue in Cleveland. And so the person who keeps calling for these special, where would we be without the sheriff? For these special attention in my location. It's 13 Lakeside. Are these individuals tracking my whereabouts? Number Recently happened.
So I was thinking about this, and the FBI, they hold a vendetta against me for reporting HPL Stampings Incorporated. That's weird. Now, these are kids. These are 30-year-old kids who have endless amounts of our taxed income at their fingertips to use however they want. And they have used it to hack my bank account, my email, my phone, stalk me at every job. Now, because of their level, they didn't show themselves. But whoever they wanted to join for what they needed, which was to ruin my life, they used the Cuyahoga County Sheriff, Cleveland Police, Transit Police, Cleveland RTA. And those individuals, oh, and Dominic Coletta, who falsified my records and altered court recordings.
And why did
Those individuals then got to the smaller level of using the homeless people to harass me and assault me.
To the YWCA, Greater Cleveland.
But, you know, as 30-year-old kids, you know, they're receiving their orders from someone, right? They're not doing this on their own. They're receiving their orders. And that would be from their supervisor, who isn't there for maybe every 3 months. How long has he been there? And across the street from them are sheriff's vehicles, city vehicles, sheriff vehicles that they can use at any time. Now, I want that plate number. Can we see that? They violate our civil rights. They hack our bank accounts 3 times. They've hacked my phone. Now, I just want you guys to know that I don't do anything. County vehicle parking only, violators will be towed. And those red and white plates that one FBI agent said, I don't know what you're talking about. This is one of them. 986 ZKG.
He then ended up in my gym and just stared at me, watched me work out. I documented that too. I recorded him. I recorded him that day.
Okay. Protective services. Alrighty. Okay. Now it's Sunday. So that is the only one I think who's working. Now there are vehicles behind the gate working. You can see that. Now I can record. I'm not on their premises. So it is not illegal for me to record this. Okay. All right. In fact, I could stand right here and record because I am not on their premises. I'm on a public sidewalk. So 5769.
Last four.
Okay. LVW maybe, but the last
Y.
four are definitely 5769.
It's not a V, it's a Y.
But you know, they don't like that because then they fear for their safety. However, they will hold this psychotic vendetta against a person who hasn't broken any laws.
Frank Pogorski.
And this is July 12, 2026. The time is sunglasses on, but 9:59 a.m.
Whose address
But like I
is
said,
hidden.
you know, these kids are 30 years old, so they haven't been within the FBI for 20 years, but someone has been.
Frank Pogorski.
So is it the supervisor who has this vendetta, who has
Frank
used
Pogorski.
a psychotic vendetta
For 20 years.
against within his screwed up head to go after an innocent person's life who doesn't violate laws, doesn't drink alcohol, doesn't consume anything, consume drugs, doesn't smoke anything. But, you know, they're going to use this psychotic vendetta to attack my life. Now, I kind of kept it within my mind as it kept pointing to them, this stalking, and because I reported HBO Stampings Incorporated to them 20 years ago. And who would have all of this money for 20 years, renting all these helicopters and coming from state to state and drones? Who would have all of that money?
Mm-hmm.
The ones who I reported HBO Stampings Incorporated to 20 years ago. And the guy, one of the employees yesterday with an Excel
Not yesterday.
Legence, one of the employees, not People Ready, but one of the employees with an Excelligence, he asked, or he actually said, it sounds like a vendetta.
He would know.
Okay, so he was telling me that that's what it was. And James Steglia, who gave me whose phone number, and James Steglia's phone number, first let me say this. James Steglia's phone number is a phone number of a child photographer. Now, People Ready, we were supposed to call him when we arrived on site. I did, and so did two other People Ready employees. He didn't respond. He didn't answer the phone. Okay. I then called the second time to say I'm here. And he said that he got off the wrong exit. Because the second time he answered, well, how did he answer when it's not his phone? I dialed that phone number. How did he answer when it isn't his phone? That isn't his phone number. Because they have the capability to come in on any call. Right? I mean, how else? Now, I'm only putting this together in a scenario of what the government has the capability to do. When I was being assaulted on bus 11, and I called the cops, the Cuyahoga County Sheriff, someone came onto the line and stated that they were with the Cuyahoga County Sheriff. When the transit police showed, number one, they allowed her to walk away. When the transit police showed
up, they asked the Cleveland RTA male driver to exit the bus, close the bus door, remained outside at the front, right in front of those doors, and talked as the assault was going on, as I was being assaulted. That assault the report number of that assault, she is related to someone within the YWCA. That assault, what she did was she stood up on the bus, and I said, hello. She said, no one is here to protect you. And she then started to assault me. A security guard who used to work, Danielle, who used to work at the YWCA, was also on the bus. And she said she wasn't allowed to assist because she was off duty. Assist me in any way because she was off duty. That was now related to the YWCA. Now the YWCA are claiming that they don't like me because I put them online. No, because the YWCA were mistreating me as soon as I walked in the door. The ladies there recognized it and told me, they said, they have been mistreating you since you walked in. And they were trying to get me to like participate in dancing outside and all kind of weird stuff. Which I don't dance. No, I'm good. I'm fine. Okay. So, the YWCA of Greater Cleveland participated. Now, I thought this whole time it was Dominic Coletta, and especially every time I mention Coletta, there's a helicopter. But I think that was just to throw me off. And I think that all of this participation, Cuyahoga County Sheriff, you know, when they do this special attention, okay, that special attention is per the request of the FBI. The manager of the FBI is only continuing what Frank Figliuzzi wants. Even after Frank Figliuzzi retired, I think in 2018 he moved to Tucson, Arizona, is what I read. 2018 is when I was evicted. That's when the eviction went through. I was told to be quiet and threatened with contempt of court by Magistrate Keith L. Spelkin. I filed an appeal with Dominic Coletta. I filed an appeal with Cuyahoga County Court of Appeals. I then filed this with the Cuyahoga County Court of Common Pleas, Judge Janet R. Burnside, Judge Deborah M. Turner. I then reported it to the Ohio Supreme Court, and it went nowhere. You know, there would need to be someone who was really high up to give these orders so that all of these levels of government would not be afraid of getting into trouble. All right, let's start. We have YWCA of Greater homeless people who they used. YWCA of Greater Cleveland, Cleveland Police, Cleveland Transit Police, Cleveland RTA, Cleveland Transit Police. We have Judge Dominic Coletta, we have Deborah M. Turner, we have Judge Janet R. Burnside, who published, Janet R. Burnside published my request for a search and seizure of my property online after I told her it was private. Now, she was retiring. She was a judge who was then chosen who was retiring. So you can't file a complaint against a judge who's retiring. So all of this, just there's someone really, really high up. My bank account was hacked 3 times. One of them was through apple.com. I even showed that I don't have any type of purchasing of any apps on apple.com. I've never purchased apps on apple.com. I only do the free apps. I did a screen share with Apple. Apple said, yeah, credit her the money. There were African male and females who were coming in on the call. Now, that would have to be done if the FBI were in on the call, transferred the call to the Cleveland Prosecutor's Office or the Detective Bureau of Cleveland instead of doing an interference. Instead of the call going to Apple, which it did do a couple of times. I recorded all of it. I put it online. the call was transferred to Cuyahoga County Prosecutor's Office, Cleveland Prosecutor's Office, Cleveland Police, because they were African. And you say, oh my God, you can't. When you call Apple, because of where the area is located, because of where that office is located, they're white, Southern. You just don't. I have never had someone from Apple being of the African nationality talk to me within their customer service or the IT department. No one. It's only when you call someone working within a Cleveland level of government. So anyways, I think I've got this figured out. I do believe that this is Frank Figluzzi, who has been causing trouble within my life for 20 years. And I'm just asking for all of this to be investigated. And as I'm about to turn this off, I'm really thinking, is there anywhere, I know apple.com, someone tried to put a $1 charge through with GoPuff. I did screen shares of all of this. And the assaults that went nowhere. The prosecutor's office then even switched the assault from bus 11 that I just showed you. She's related to the YWCA. And then the, Marion Hubbard assault that occurred within the women's shelter, the YWCA managed women's shelter. Marion Hubbard was told by Angie Kittries, a YWCA employee, that I didn't have any scar. It was bandaged because I was trying to get attention. It was bandaged because it was very necessary to keep it clean. Marion Hubbard then tried to rip off my bandage, and she was punching me in the forehead. She was actually counting every day that I had it bandaged. Now it needed to stay clean and bandaged for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. It was important for that to stay bandaged. And Angie Kittries of the YWCA of Greater Cleveland, who then admitted to tracking me to the library. She started banking at the same bank where I have been since 2016. She joined the gym where I was also since 2016. She then admitted to track. She said that she's tracked me to the library. She had a really strange obsession with me, really, really strange. She told me that she tracked me to the library. She actually said, we received information that you go to the library. So this is someone who I definitely thought, this is her. But she was just a level. The prosecutor's office then took both reports of Marion Hubbard and the assault on bus 11 and switched the names. Who was really involved in that? And why would they do that? Because they weren't afraid of getting into trouble. That's all online. I recorded those conversations. I recorded everything. Who was really giving those orders? Because my phone was also hacked. Every single thing that I have typed within the notes app of my phone, people have reacted to. I did that deliberately. There is also, whenever I've had my videos on private, they're only private to see who comes in immediately and views my videos. It's immediate, even when they're locked, even though I haven't shared the link with anyone. Who has that capability? Yeah, the cops. But who really, I do believe that, yes, it could be the Cleveland Prosecutor's Office, Cuyahoga County Prosecutor, the Cleveland Police, because the Transit Police for sure. Because when I type something in the notes app of my phone about a RTA driver who I think is actually dating a transit police officer, who was involved with the one night where 2 very obnoxious people came on, and the one acted like she didn't have any balance and said that she had celiac disease. because these nut jobs were actually misdiagnosing me with celiac disease. And then the university hospital internist tested me for celiac disease, which I never told her to, instead of testing my T3, T4 levels of my thyroid. I then went to that Basham endocrinologist. She referred me to him, who dug really deep into my thyroid, which you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to be very, very delicate with it. He dug into it for a long time just to do a biopsy. You're never supposed to do that. And now I actually see the sagging of my eye. My eyes don't look like they used to. That's Graves' disease. That's like an acceleration of thyroid disease. This is constantly swollen. It is not going down. He actually asked me, as I'm lying on the table ready for my biopsy, he asked me why I thought I was even there. What are you doing here? Well, there isn't any way I could even get that appointment without a referral from the internist, Dr. Danka. She referred me to him. That's how I got that appointment to do the biopsy. Danka didn't even do the T3 and T4 count, which is so important. She tested me, like I said, for celiac disease. Bashar then digs into my throat. When I was working at Spray Products, they ran the cans cold instead of it hot, and the can swelled. I was told that I had to remain on that line. I should have walked off. And that was planned. It then exploded in my hand and hit my knee. I went to the Cleveland Clinic of Akron. They just put a tight bandage around it and said, that I could return to work. I could hardly even walk. All of this has been planned. All of it was very deliberate against me. I did a drug test through Winolo, and it came back as clean. Of course, I don't do anything. However, Winolo, Nikki from Winolo, claimed that my pH level was off. Now, I then wanted to know, was it because of, that was the same day I did the biopsy. Or like the day after, it was because the day of, when I left that operating room, that room where he did the biopsy, it wasn't operation, you just stick a needle in there. When I left that room, I couldn't stand. I was very sick. I felt very nauseous. And so I was on the cot, and when they wheeled me back into the room, and then I just laid there for a little bit. I wasn't feeling well at all. But I did a drug test before that. And it then came back. Nikki said that my pH levels were off. Okay, so I thought it was because of the biopsy for the thyroid. She then said that TH or TSH, something that has to do with marijuana. There was something about that. Now, I have never touched it. When I then called Checker, now Checker wanted to keep avoiding my calls constantly, but then I recorded someone that said that they actually saw there wasn't anything to worry about. So someone came in on the call. They listened to my call when I made the appointment for the drug test. And then they got involved with that. I thought it was Dominic Coletta, which it quite possibly could be, because he doesn't want to get in trouble for the falsification of records. But who came in on that call? Is it still Fagluzzi? It has to be. This is 20 years. All of these cops are going to have such an interest in me for 20 years? Or are they just being told to keep up with this interest? I'm trying to think, it was called TSH or something. Something. As I'm talking, I'm still trying to think about that Checker. Checker didn't want to then respond to me anymore. So who is coming in on this? Someone definitely listens to my phone calls. That's for sure. When I make a phone call, that phone call is, there's someone in on that call. My phone gets very, very hot sometimes. The battery runs out very quickly, and my phone will just switch to Wi-Fi all of a sudden, or the Bluetooth will just come on all of a sudden. So there's just a lot of things that occur, and I am seriously now wondering about all of it. I recorded everything. I put it on YouTube, everything, including Checker, including all of that. So President Trump and FBI Director Kash Patel, he said terrible things about Kash Patel. Pagliuzzi did. So, and he also tried to cause trouble with President Trump. So I'm asking them to please step in with this. Please look into this. Thank you.